Welcome everyone to round 10 of FRL. Today we are here at the Austrian Grand Prix, and we have to say that today we will have full qualifying, not short qualifying as usually. So new for the league, first time we'll have this full qualifying, so we'll see how drivers handle it and what strategies they are gonna be on now that we have that Q2 where they can pick a different compound of tire if they are able to manage to pass through Q3 on medium tires. I'm as always here with Zach, so say hello please.
Hello everyone, and yeah, as you were saying, David, Austria is a very tough circuit. It doesn't look like it on paper, only 10 corners, and probably one of the shortest lap times on the calendar, around about 1 minute freezing qualifying if you really hook it up, so it is looking difficult, but it looks easier on paper than it actually is. The race is very difficult, and strategy plays a massive factor, and with the full qualifying format now, could get very interesting in terms of strategy.
Well, I think medium soft is the correct strategy here, but we'll see what drivers decide. I don't know much about two-stop strategy. I think one stop is enough, but we will see what these drivers decide to do today. As we can see, drivers already starting to leave the pit lane. Also to remember that turn 2 where a lot of polemic incidents have happened on the last years. We remember 2019 Verstappen and Leclerc. Also in other categories as F3 for example. Well, that turn 2 is very polemic turn. A lot of polemic things may happen there. Well, we already have some cars coming out of the pit lane, and well, we have to say that Racing Point drivers, Aaron Apple and Henry Rogers as Ash, the three of them no longer are with us. They have been promoted to Division 1. So we have now a replacement for them. We have Bagos, the Maverick, we have Bonaldo and Monkey Mafia and the Reynolds. So that was our last race last weekend with those three on this division, so maybe that allows us to see a new winner today since they start shining a lot on this division, so they got promoted.
Yeah, they were the class of the field, all three of them really consistently up there, so it'll be interesting to see how they fare in the top dog, the Division 1 guys. They are bloody rapid, so it'll be interesting to see how our Division 2, our top guys, go and fare against them, and hopefully they can give them a bit of a tough time. But so far the replacements, we'll have to see how they can get on in the new debutees. Big shoes to fill in the Racing Point and that first Renault. Well, let's see how they can get on, and a couple of people on the medium tyre, like Paulo Frost, VGR, and Stay Vento, all on the medium tyre. They're just confident they can get through to Q2 on that medium tyre and don't want to waste a soft run that they may be using Q3 or Q2?
Well, they can try that one, maybe, but still a bit risky. Maybe they could save that for Q2 if they think they are confident on getting a good time on the medium tires. Then probably they would want to take it to Q2 and not Q1. At the end, I don't think they have to use much tires for the race. As I said previously, this track you can do one stop, so no need to save much tires unless there's a safety car or something like that. Well, we already have the first two lap times. It's Cairns, 1:4.1, then Bagos, one of the new Racing Point guys, 1:4.3. Then we have Tick, also 1:4.3, just some thousands behind Bagos. Sadok and P4, 1:5, very slow lap time. Eckott and Paulo Frost also very slow time, but both of them on the medium tires, 1:5.7. That's definitely not a competitive time at Austria. Edge now goes into P4, 1-4.5. Still nobody has been able to break that 1-4 gap and go for a 1-3 at the moment at least. We'll see what awaits us in the next minute. Still 13 more minutes remaining. Weather again seems to be clear, so looks no chance of wet qualifying at least at the moment.
At least at the moment. Still got 2 more sessions though, so who knows, but it does look blue skies for the time being, so everyone's going to be on the limit and pushing for as fast a lap times as they can. Some pretty quick times out of the gate so far, not the quickest that we've seen probably that we can achieve. 1:04.1, still not a bad time by any means of the imagination, but it is only Q1. Still got a lot of track evolution, still got a lot of time for people to find, and I'm going to be not too surprised if we see them sort of in the mid 103s, maybe the low 103s once we get to the quicker guys, maybe of AA Gaming or Ross Storm, because those guys can definitely pull a lap together, and it looks as though they're not out on the track at the moment. Our top guns that you would normally see putting in some great laps in the short qualifying sessions, now sort of just playing it simple, don't want to go out there, don't want to waste too much time faffing about with any unnecessary quali laps. They want to get out, get the 1 lap done. That is very deep for Bernardo there, going into turn 2, and just go straight on and lets everyone through. So a bit of a big mistake on his final lap, and that's the problem. You don't want to leave it too late, because if you make a mistake like Bernardo does, you're going to be out of Q1. So let's just have to see what the top dogs can do. But Khan's doing a very good job out in front at the moment, and very close from 2nd, 3rd and 4th.
Yeah, still I would say very close. The top 4 I would say actually. Cairns is also not so far, only 1/10 in front of Bagos. Then Tik and Bagos probably the closest difference of all the top guys at the moment, with less than a tenth actually. But we are still missing as you said, the time of the quick guys, as Ross Storm, as AA Gaming, who's still on the pit lane. Ross Storm's also still on the pit lane. Probably also they don't want to use much more tires than they need. They probably only go for 1 shot. As I said, this track doesn't require much tires because strategy may be only 1 stop. But still, if you can save tires, then why not try to save the most of them that you can. Well, now going to check for a moment the commentary section. We finally have some commentaries. Well, one of the commentaries is from Monkey Mafia, sending an emoji of a monkey. Well, then we have Mike Tyson, who says push, push, push. And he says that Adam will take it home easy days. So he is very confident on Adam, but Adam, well, P5 at the moment, P6 now. Bonaldo now is into P2. Good lap by him. I think that's enough to qualify for Q2. Then we continue seeing the commentaries. Sui says rooting for Monkey, so he's a Monkey fan, Monkey Mafia fan. And then Billy Tomac says that Womack has a qualifying ban. Well, so that's gonna start at the back of the grid. We're gonna have chances at the race for sure. He's shown pace on the last races. And the last commentary is that Monkey routers are always welcome for Mike Tyson. So we have some Monkey Mafia fans on the commentary section. So to be distracted for a moment watching the commentaries, as this first qualifying is not going to be so much hard battling, just people trying to qualify for the next session, so we can relax a bit checking the commentary section. But we'll go back on track. They mentioned Adam on the commentary, so we're going to go on board 1 lap with him. He is P6 at the moment. We are following through Sector 1, that very polemic turn 2 we were talking about. He's improving 13 thousandths of a second his previous lap time, so that's not going to be enough to improve but one place, I think so. But we are going to follow him through the rest of the lap. That first sector, I think not much time you can win there. It's pretty short, almost only 2 straights, only 1 corner to do there. Then the sector 2 may be more important. He improves now, yeah, 4/10 faster now. He's looking for a good time at the moment. Maybe even place him on P1. We have to see that final sector, which we have this very fast corner. You have to get it very good. This last corner that you can go for a bump, cut it, but no, he does it pretty good. We'll see what time finally he does. Into P2, misses by only 5 thousandths of a second. That's very close lap between him and Cairns. But again, this is just to qualify for next session, so I think he did enough, and he can just go to the pit lane and relax for now.
Definitely. I was just on board with Ross Storm, who rocketed himself up to P4, and it is looking very, very close at the front. 1/10 of a second separating the top 4, and not even that far back to the likes of 5th and 6th, which are only less than 1/10 down themselves. So looking very close as John Fans rockets in an astonishing lap to go provisional pole, 1:04.1. But as you said, David, yeah, this is only Q1. We've still got 2 more qualifying sessions left to go. Who's got the sandbags on? Who's just going for that one safe lap to get it into Q2 and don't want to risk, because they need the tyres for their other runs in Q2 and 3. They want to have spare tyres in case they need an extra run. They don't want to go out on used tyres. They want to have the fresh rubber to go all the way, so they don't want to make unnecessary runs and damage those tyres. But so far Q1 looking very slow, and if this is representative of the pace, we're in for a good race today.
Well, about a good race, meaning a competitive race, we don't know yet. As we have already been saying, this time probably definitely going to be defeated in the next qualifying, in the next Q2 and Q3. So probably we don't know the real pace of guys here. We remember on France that we thought we were going to have a very close fight, and finally at the last minute, we remember that everyone was very, very close on the timer, and at the end, Rogers just pulled a great lap time, almost 1 second faster than the rest of the field, and completely destroyed our hopes of a competitive race, showing that he was going to dominate everything pretty much comfortable. As finally something like that happened. Had some fight finally with Rostorn, who had an alternative strategy starting from 11th. But yeah, at the end, the thing is that we don't know really how it will be still the last minute. So this pace from guys at the moment is probably not the real one we will see at the end.
Yeah, definitely a good point. France was a good race for some part, but as is the case usually, we do have very dominant fashions, as Fletch puts in an astonishing lap to go provisional P1 for Q1, 1:03.7. So looking like the pace is good right out the gate, and the first man into the 1:03s. So he's looking good, and that'll definitely be a confidence boost, even if it is only Q1. But as it stands, there is going to be Paulo Frost, BGR, Boss, Wumax and AA Gaming all out of Q1, but here's AA Gaming setting up a nice lap. He's going to have a bit of a toe to the man in front, not too much of a toe, won't be affected him too much, and more importantly, he won't be affected by the dirty air. But coming into turn 1, want to be looking out for the 100 board, a bit jagged on the steering is AA Gaming. That's definitely not going to help him at all, as there's a couple of cars on the inside just letting him through as he goes up the hill through turn 2, technically on bikes, but uphill braking for the official turn 2, and second gear to get the rotation, bit sideways. Want to use the uphill undulation to really rotate the car, but not too much as is to lose the rear end. But on this run now down towards turn 3, the downhill braking zone, where we saw of course Lewis Hamilton and Alex Albon come together in 2020, cooks it up nicely, hits the nice little apex, uses the curb to turn the car, and then all the way to the right hand side to chuck it in to the 2 infield. Goes a little bit wide, but you can really bring it back and really use the power to turn it, and again full commitment, bit of a lock up from AA Gaming. Goes to show he was pushing that hard, but a braking isn't really necessary through there. You can probably get away with a lift, but coming through down towards turn 9 and 10, got to be full commitment, just a little bit of a lift and a double downshift in these Formula 1 cars, and again through the final corner, got to use that inside camber and across the line. Is it going to be out of the top 15? Yes it is, and he's inside the safe zone, you could say, as Maverick has been disqualified from the session, so he's one that will definitely be out of the session. But Sadik, Paulo, Boss and Wumax, as it stands, all out of the session.
Well, actually, we have to say we have 2 people out already. Maverick has been disqualified, and Womax has a qualifying ban, so he's not going to go for a lap. So we only have to know the 3 remaining drivers who are going to be out of Q2. And yeah, as you said, at the moment looks it will be Sadok, Paulo Frost and Boss Gohan, but now at the moment Paulo Frost is on a flying lap, going to sector 1, and he's improving 1/10 his previous time. I think it's similar time that AA Gaming did actually, but we're going to follow him to the rest of the laps. He's one of the drivers at risk at the moment, and we can also see that weather has started to darken a bit the sky, so maybe why not, as you said, rain may come in the next sessions. And why not now that sky is getting darker? So, well, following now again with Paulo Frost finishing that last sector. Again, this corner you have to go fast with very big risk of corner cutting, or if going for, in top of that bump. Finally completing the lap, it's going to be 1/10 improving, and he's into P15, so he's safe by at the moment, but great risk of still falling out of this not entering the Q2, because if one of the drivers behind him improves his time, he'll be out again. And I don't think he has another chance of going for a flying lap now that we only have 2 more minutes remaining on this session. So, and Monkey Mafia is still on the pit lane. He has to come out if he doesn't want to miss his chances going into Q2, and there he goes. He's coming out of the pit lane, followed by the Red Bull of AA Gaming, who still doesn't feel so confident with that lap he did previously. So he's going out again for another flying lap. His last week he will have to feel completely safe of not missing out from Q2.
Yeah, definitely. He doesn't look too safe, doesn't want to risk it. He's P11 as it stands. All it takes is a couple, because look how close the grid is. A second covering from provisional pole down towards the safe zone, and even then it's not too far before the likes of Monkey Mafia and Sadik, just out of the bubble where you need to be safe. So everyone going to be pushing to get out of that Q1 session, and they need to try and get themselves into Q2, even if it's only a couple of positions they gain. Even if they start 15th, at least it's better than starting 16th and getting swabbled in the midfield, and you're more likely to get off to a pretty clear start. So Monkey Mafia out on a lap. We've also got Sadik out on a lap, and a lot of people trying to improve, because it is looking very, very close. The milliseconds can make the difference. So Monkey Mafia across the line needs to improve by around about half or tenth or so, about 3/100ths of a second, to get himself inside the top 15 and progress towards Q2. He needs to do this, otherwise he's going to be starting outside of the top 15. That would certainly not be ideal. He will still have free choice of tyre, but every little helps. And coming towards turn 2, 2/10 up on his previous time, so this is looking to be a good lap, even if only sector 1, DRS open, the drag reduction system giving him that extra propulsion down the straight. But Paulo Frost wasn't able to get another lap in, so he is right on the cusp of being eliminated, and has to hope and count his lucky stars that everyone else is going to fall and make the mistakes behind him. And hopefully for his sake they will, but hopefully for their sake they're going to hook up a lovely little lap. And there he goes. He's already been knocked out by, I believe, Rishi knocked him out of the top 15, so he's going to be eliminated from Q2. But let's see what Monkey Mafia can do coming towards turn 9. Again, got to be so committed, try not to cut on the inside, as you said, David, and towards the final couple of corners, bit wide. That's going to cost him a bit of time, but it doesn't matter as long as it's enough. Stay Juvento goes up to P2 and across the line. Monkey Mafia just finds himself into the top 15, but it wasn't without hardship, and that was a very, very close first qualifying session. But Bucko, Paulo, Boss, and Rumax and Maverick, of course, with their issues, are going to be out of qualifying. But Bucko, Paulo, and Boss all need to go make themselves a cup of tea and enjoy the next 2 sessions.
Yeah, they'll have plenty of time now to relax. Yeah, as you say, they can go for a cup of tea now that they won't be on the next two sessions, which will take some like around 20 minutes, probably more than that. So yeah, they have plenty of time for a cup of tea, if you say. Finally, Juventino improved into P2. That was great by him. Also AA Gaming, who both of them were pretty far behind, around P10 or something like that. Now they're into P2 and P3, so they pulled out a good lap time at the end. As I was saying, this was what we saw previously was not going to be the real pace of these drivers. And this is probably also not the real pace. The real pace still we're about to see in the next minutes now, heading into qualifying 2.
But yeah, definitely a good session to sort of test the waters and see who's most acclimatised to the circuit. Fletch tops the session then ahead of Stay Juvento in P2, with AA Gaming rounding off the top 3 with a great second run. John Fans P4 with Carnes in P5. Adam P6, Bernardo P7, Ross P8, Bagos P9, Sadik P10, Huge P11, Teak P12, Monkey Mafia P13, BGR Echo, and Rishi just managing to scrape through to qualifying, but it was so close behind Tabaka Gunner, 200ths of a second separating the Haas and the Ferrari, and Paulo Frost also eliminated with Boss Gohan joining him. But if that was, interesting first session, it's good to see who has acclimatized himself best. Very close, less than a second top separating the top 15, so could be close for the next couple of qualifyings, and you do not want to make any crucial mistakes. You have to hook up the lap, otherwise, as we've just seen, you're going to find yourself plummeting down towards the back end of the grid.
Well, so now into Q2, and again the sky looking very dark, so why not rain coming out in any moment? We can speculate, and drivers also have to speculate it too, because if that's the case, they'll have to come out of the pit lane the quickest they can. If not, as Alonso said some years ago, even if they have a rocket ship, they would still not improve. So, well, drivers now coming out of the pit lane. In case rain comes, they will have to get their times done now, because then it will be completely useless no matter what they do. So yeah, plenty of guys coming out quickly out of the pit lane. 15 minutes in this Q2. We have Rostorm, Teak, Sadok, Bonaldo, Rishi and Bagos, all of them coming out of the pit lane. Other guys also have already started to come out. Juventino, Adam also. Most guys are out of the pit lane now. They are going very quick there. Almost everyone is now out of the pit lane. We only are missing now Monkey Mafia and AA Gaming, if I'm not wrong. Monkey Mafia now is coming out of the pit lane, so now AA Gaming, the only driver who remains at the pit lane at the moment. Probably going to come out now. I don't think he will stay anymore, seeing what everyone else has done. Driver leading the field is Bagos now, who's going to start his flying lap. Following him on board into turn 1. Very easy corner to cut, but there he managed to do it right. We are going to check what time is he doing on this sector 1. 1:16 was time 1:15.8. That's very good by him. Purple sector 1, but we know that glitching happens a lot. We now are focusing on Rishi, who is 3 times lower than Bagos time. We can go with one of the top guys as Rostorm, who is, we missed his time on that sector 1. We are going with John Fans now, he's about to go there. And we can compare his time with Bagos time, and he does 16.2, so Bagos looking faster at the moment of the guys we have checked last, so why not Bagos getting a very good lap time. Racing Point, we remember Iron Apple and Rogers dominated a lot when they were still here. Now we are seeing Bagos dominate at the moment while we have been checked. Bagos 1:3.8, good time comparing to last qualifying to Q1 times. Then Sadok into P2, Rostorm into P2, 1:4.2. Sadok P3, Tick P4, Bonaldo now improves into P2, Juventino is into P2 now, Adam now goes into P3, very close times we are seeing now. Now John Fans is into P6, Rostorm P5 at the moment. Oh, we have yellow flag there. Oh, something happened there, but no, everything's going right. We saw the McLaren going very fast with his teammate there, who was stopped on track. Thankfully, they didn't make contact. There is rain. We see drops of rain coming out. And now, yeah, this is going to definitely not good for AA Gaming, who didn't come out and is on medium tires. This completely may destroy his chances of going into Q3, because as I said previously, like Alonso said some years ago, even if he had a rocket ship, he would still not improve his lap time.
Very, very true. It is going to be difficult. I mean, it's mostly straight, so he might have, if he had a rocket ship, I'm sure he would be alright. 3 DRS straights, of course, around Austria, so it might be alright if he had a rocket ship. But I'm confident now this is going to set the grid, well, not set the grid, but set the top 10 into Q3. So Bagos, Fletch, Stay, Adam, Bonaldo, Ross, John Fan, Sadek, Rishi and Teak all into the top 10 and all safe to go through. So it just goes to show how crucial that first run was. And you were right, David, at the start of the session that they needed to get out quickly because those clouds were looking very, very ominous overhead, and it looks as though they're proven to be pretty daunting, and they've knocked Huge and AA Gaming's chance out because they didn't even get the chance to set a lap. AA Gaming's still going to give it a go. Let's just see how treacherous these conditions are then. On the medium slick tyres, which even in the rain, even in the dry are hard to warm up, let alone in the rain as he goes uphill. Probably not even going to be much on offer, but he can try and beat Huge for P14, and apparently goes purple to the first sector. Whether we want to believe that or not, you can see he's struggling so much on the exit, trying to get the foot down. So it is just a battle between himself and Huge to see who can actually topple themselves. Huge has gone onto the soft compound tyres, it seems. So battle for P14, it seems, is going to be the highlight of our Q2 session. But I was just going to say this session, before I lost my words there, this session is very, very crucial for all the drivers. It sets what tyres you're going to use in the race. Of course, if you get inside the top 10, you have to start the race on the exact same of tyres you've set your fastest lap in Q2 on. So as it stands, everyone in the top 10 will be starting on the soft red mark soft tyres, but everyone outside of that will be on the will have a free set of tyres. Say Gaming goes into P14, only a second off Monkey Mafia. So it's not like it was too far off. It's not actually incredibly far off as Huge now starts his lap, but it looks as though Q2 is pretty set and done now. Should probably just call it off now, David.
Yeah, I think that's all. Track is not going to go better anyway. It's just going to keep raining more and more. So it's going to be useless now. Try to do a good lap time. So we probably got Bagos, Fletch, Juventino, Adam, Bonaldo, Rostorm, John Fan, Sadok, Rishi, and Tick into Q3. Unfortunate for my prediction, Monkey Mafia looks not going to be on Q3, as if you read my prediction on the Discord chat, I said that Rostrum was going to win this one, then Juventino was going to be P2 and Monkey Mafia P3, but Monkey Mafia looks not going to make it to Q3. Definitely race, a lot of things may happen, but still starting on that P13 makes things more complicated when you try to get up for a podium. So not looking good for my prediction in that way at the moment.
Yeah, definitely not. But it happens. These things happen. It just goes to show the unpredictability of motorsport and how crucial full qualifying is, because there's 3 more chances or 2 extra chances for it to rain, and it's proven so here in Styria. The mountainous terrain not proving very nice in terms of climate. Hopefully it dries up for the race, and maybe might even be a wet Q3 session. Who knows? Could be looking to spice up the grid a lot, because if it's wet, that could spice it up. I believe it was Ross Storm that was doing a bit of a rain dance to hope for the rain. So if he's a bit of a rain master, could see him take pole.
Well, actually, Q3 should be with rain, because if it's not, then I'm really going to question this game for how realistic it is, because probably rain is not going to start coming strong and then all of a sudden dry up as nothing happened. So yeah, I would really question realism of this game if we don't have a wet qualifying tree, which is most probably what's going to happen. But well, who knows, this game has shown to be crazy in many ways, but I think that would be too much of an exaggeration, that even weather is not accurate. So yeah, most probably we're having a wet Q3 to end finally, so we are not going to see finally those faster times, because times we would see are going to be on the wet, 99% sure. So I think drivers, if there's not going to be a wet race, which they can check on the pit lane, I think they could just retire now and win some time going to Q3. But well, that's up to them, as Bagos has retired because he knows it's useless now to continue here. So yeah, unless they want to test wet track, then there's no more reason to go out on this Q2.
Well, if it is going to be wet for Q3, which as you said it probably should be, if they want to get any early testing in, you know, it might be good to just test the waters, maybe get some track acclimatization done in Q2. They've still got 5 minutes left, and they put in a bit more fuel and go out on the intermediates. They could probably get a bit of testing done and try and readjust themselves to the new weather. So that's exactly what Fletcher's doing. He did a really good lap for his first run in Q2 on the slicks before it started to rain, of course, and now coming through the final corner on the inters, you can just see how much wetter it's gotten. Really, really glossy track, and just goes to show how wet it is. But on the grooved intermediate tyres, I should say, of course, so they can displace the water and try and give the rubber a nice little sort of less wet patch to go on. Of course, if it was slicks, they just sort of hover over it and don't move the water away. But the groove tyres managing to move the water out of the way. Fletch 2 seconds down in the first sector. It is very, very wet out there, but when it comes to Q3, he's going to be the one with a bigger advantage, and Bagos, if he doesn't get any testing in, because of course he's retired, he could be at the back foot for Q3 and really have to adjust there.
Well, we're following now Flash through his lap, practice lap most probably. As you said, they must be testing the tires for Q3, which is 99% sure going to be on rain, and we can see almost 7 seconds lower on sector 2 than what he did on the with dry track. Times here, if I'm not wrong, must be like 1:13 in rain conditions. Yes, it is 1:14. Yeah, something like that. 1:14.0 time Flash did on those intermediate tires. Then we see Adam also on a flying lap at the moment on intermediate tires. We are going to see his time now. Looks to be going faster than Flash. Goes, and it's 13.5, 5/10 faster than what Flash did. Then John Fans is also on a flying lap at the moment, 1.5 seconds lower on sector 1 than his time on the dry track. Yeah, actually we have plenty of drivers on track at the moment testing those intermediate tires, and we have 3 more minutes remaining. So, well, we can try to check the pace, but still not much we can predict, knowing they are probably not sure if everyone's going to push and give it all on these practice laps they are doing now.
Yeah, but still, I mean, it's good practice, you know, it doesn't really need much for this session, but those in the top 10 will definitely be benefiting out of getting some practice. Those outside the top 10, probably not so much, because they won't actually get to see the rain unless it is a wet race. Of course, they might benefit off having this nice little run in Q2 to benefit off the rain, and it's definitely good testing, and it will help them. Fletch, of course, getting a lot of track mileage in and just really trying to find the grip, and he should be on a good chance into Q3 if he can carry this momentum forward, because 114s in the wet around Austria are definitely not a mean feat. You probably want to be looking at fastest a 112. You know, sort of a good lap would be a 113, and an average lap 114th-ish. But Fletch, for a Q2 time, he's just whacked on a set of intermediates. Definitely a quick time, and he's looking pretty good if it rains into Q3.
Okay, we have a commentary now from Ross Stewart. Not sure if he's Ross Storm. Well, not really sure, but he says probably a dry Q3. I don't think so. That would be very unrealistic for this game, as I said. If it's starting to rain hard, then why would in just some minutes dry up again? Yeah, he says he is Ross Stewart in the commentaries, but well, I don't think it's going to be a dry Q3, but well, maybe he has the information of in the pit lane, as drivers have access to that. But if that's the case, that would, as I said, be very unrealistic by this game.
Yeah, exactly. You might want to check the game if it's not going to be wet, because in real life the Q2 and 3 sessions are probably only about 5 minutes apart, really, from the checkered flag in Q2 and the green flag in Q3. They're probably only about 5 minutes apart with ad breaks. So if it's not wet, probably going to be a big surprise.
Okay, last 10 seconds of Q2. Finally, this is going to end. Turned it more into a practice for the wet conditions than an actual qualifying session. We had qualifying the first 4 minutes, most probably. Then it was just full practice for wet conditions on track. Finally, it has ended, and we only have 4 drivers on track at the moment, and still 2 people to retire from qualifying, so we can continue into Q3. AA Gaming now on a lap without using ERS. He's going 6.7 seconds lower than his lap on soft tires, on slick tires, I'm sorry. There he's going to the pit lane. Juventino is also into the pit lane, so now they'll retire, so we can continue into Q3 finally. Okay, A-Game is DNF. Now we are waiting only for Juventino to DNF, and we can, yeah, there he is. Finally, we will see some action, hopefully, on that Q3. Fight for pole is going to be very interesting now. We have plenty of candidates, and still haven't seen the real pace of any of them because of more than one qualifying session for the first time. So probably, as we said, they were saving, not throwing it all on the laps they did, and finally because of rain, which didn't allow us to see anything else of pace apart from one lap on the last Q2 we have just ended.
Yeah, very close qualifying session though, despite it only being one run. Fletch and Bag were separated by only 0.03 of a second, but Carnes, BGR, Monkey, A Gaming and Huge all not able to set that crucial first lap in qualifying that could have seen them propel them into the top 10, but very close and very fine lines that first run was. It was very crucial and a very easy mistake to make. One run, pressure's on, and they've missed out on Q3, but we'll have the advantage of fresh tyres into the race. So P11 probably isn't that bad of a race start, and it isn't actually wet in Q3. It seems to have dried up a little bit.
Yeah, this is completely ridiculous. Yeah, actually this is a complete joke, I have to say. This is not realistic at all. But well, that's how it is. Not really surprised because of all the glitches and things this game has. So yeah, I'm not surprised at all in that way, but yeah, it's pretty very unrealistic that yeah, as we know in real life, Q2 and Q3 only separated by like 5 minutes, so yeah, 5 minutes before it's raining for intermediate tires and 5 minutes later it's completely dry for slick tires again. So that's, yeah, completely unrealistic and ridiculous, but we'll see. It's still not going to be not interesting at all. It's going to be completely interesting qualifying to watch. Well, we have a commentary from AA Gaming that says, game tells me it's a dry session, so I step away for 5 minutes and then it's raining. Yeah, I think we all agree that this game is pretty crazy and in those things. Then we have a commentary from Clint Sadler that says, what's up, David? Trigger 20K20 from the old Elite Drivers League. I'm here showing the support. Thank you, Clint. Long time we meet. Happy that you are watching this stream. Thanks for your support. And, well, it's been a long time, so glad to see you again.
So we've got John Fans here starting a hot lap, his first lap in Q3. We've lost Rishi from the session, but John Fans probably one of the favourites to take a good position in this qualifying session. Coming up the hill, DRS wide open for his first run in qualifying. 10 minutes left in the session, and everyone just trying to get their feet in, and maybe if it is going to not be dry skies for the entire thing. Not the best set, the one from John Fans, and a bit of a missed apex going in towards turn 1. He's got a couple of people in front of him who are probably on a little bit better laps, but it is very, very crucial he gets these quick laps in and can build across them across the session. And as David said, you know, a bit strange that it's going to be a wet qualifying, or not going to be a wet qualifying, I should say. It's very bizarre unless they've got a massive hairdryer to the track. I don't see any reason why there would be any logical reason as to why it's so dry. A bit of a spin in front. It looks as though they're going to be yellow flags. That is going to be Bagos, the debutee, in the Racing Point, making a bit of a spin coming through turn 7, I believe. Bernardo goes quickest, 104.0, quickest time from him, and the first benchmark time of Q3. What's John Fans going to do across the line? It's only going to be a 104.8, not the best time you want to be setting in Q3. Ross Storm with a 16.1 to the first sector again, another one. Oh, and he's spun, he's hit the wall, and he's going to be needing to come back to the pits for a replacement for that one. Looks like Q3 is struggling, but there's a bit of sun now breaking through the clouds, so it is now sunny and no threat of rain.
Yeah, again, completely ridiculous track conditions. Rain to dry in less than 5 minutes. And, well, yeah, we saw plenty of drivers spinning there. Reaches DNF, the qualifying pretty early. Thus hasn't even completed a lap yet. Flesh now is into P1, 1.3.9. Then second Bonaldo, 1.4.0. John Fans very far behind, 1.4.8. The only drivers we have now that have completed a lap time. Angel Cocky Love, I'm not sure who he is, but he says my laps are all soft. Rain ruined my qualifying. Well, I'm not sure who this is. Then Monkey Mafia says, you are right behind me, so let's give them a show and pick through the field. Then Clint again says, it's Has bro, great to hear your voice finally and doing well for yourself. I'm pleased for you, bro. Hope you're well and come on road. So thanks for your support again, Clint. Yeah, as I said, very happy to meet you again after a long time ago now. And well, looks he's a Rostorm fan, so thanks also for your support to Rostorm, who is still to do a lap at the moment. We only have time from 5 drivers now. Another yellow flag, but this is because some drivers let him by another driver. Rishi, as we know, DNF the qualifying, so we only have 9 contenders now for pole position at the moment, with 7 more minutes remaining. On this qualifying session, we have Rostorm now coming out of the pit lane. Sadok is now finishing his flying lap. We're gonna go on board with him and this last sector he has. There goes to that very tricky corner, does it very good. It's going to be 1-4.4, 5th place now. Not enough to fight for pole at the moment. Adam also finishing his lap now. His teammate from Alfa Romeo finished now and is up into P5 in front of his teammate Sadok by 2 tenths faster. Rostorm, now we are going to go on board with him, starting his lap. There it goes, going to take that turn 1, very tricky one to not corner cut and do it fast at the same time. He does it pretty well, not cutting much of the corner, so maybe lost some time there. He could have gained. They're going into turn 2, 15.9, not the fastest time he could have done, I think so. We've seen faster sectors there previously. Now going into the corner section on sector 2, the part with most corners on this track, which is most filled by straights. They're finishing that sector 2 and it's going to be a 44.5 purple sector 2 for him. Not sure if that's real or not. We know this game glitch a lot. We're about to know in the next moments. Final corner for him. Cuts it there pretty good. Gain time there and it's going to be P1 by 50 thousandths of a second faster than Flash. So we see there a very close battle for pole position today.
Very, very close indeed. I just want to say how close the top 5 are now. Ross at that lap. You can just see that all on a 104 dead, the 3rd, 4th and 5th. And then you've got Fletcher and Ross both separate by half the 10th of a second. That's a fraction of a blink of an eye between the two guys. Almost identical laps, but in motor racing, that half a tenth is massive. If you compared them side by side, there'd be virtually no difference. But there is such a big difference between them in the sense of how crucial that lap is. Both going to be starting on the front row. Ross has gone even quicker on this second run on these soft tyres. He's gone purple to the middle sector once again. Has he gone for a double run on these soft tyres? It looks as though he has. He's going to chuck it in and then hope he's got enough of time to go through, and he cuts that last corner very, very nicely. DRS, of course, across the line once again. There's going to be an improvement, a 103.699, even quicker. And as I said in Q1, these guys mid 103s now, and Stay Juvento as well on an outlap. We're coming towards the closing stages of qualifying. We haven't even seen the race yet, but it's already been so action-packed, and Ross got probably just enough time to go for one more run. Fletch probably waited for his last run, and Stay Juvento now out there going for his. Teague going for his as well. It's so, so close.
Bagos DNFs the race now, they qualifying, so P9 gonna be for Bagos, P10 for Rishi. Only 8 contenders remaining now. We're now on board with Teague, who's going to start his flying lap. Then also John Fans has just finished, improving up into P6. Bonaldo is also on an out lap, so we are going to check what Teague is going to do now. We are following into sector 1. It's going to be a 15.9, 35 thousandths of a second slower than on his previous lap, so not improving there if he wants to have a chance to challenge for that pole position. Rostorm has built a 2.5 tenths gap between him and Flash, so we'll see if now the other driver can shorten that. Following Teague into sector 2, 44.5, improving 2 tenths. That's going to place him probably into P2 at the moment, or P3. There goes into the final corners. What time is Teague gonna do now? Goes a bit over the bump there. Not sure if that make him lose some time. P2 for Teague. Exact same
times.
Yeah, and again, game is wrong here because in real life, the driver who did the time first should keep P2, not the opposite. So another one to blame on the game and to yeah, error by the game again there.
Yeah, definitely not ideal, but remarkable. They've set identical lap times. That is just how close Austria is and how close FRL is instead, we could say. But Fletch now going out on his outlap, hoping he can improve. Now just pulling over, waiting for the Ferrari to pass him into the infields. And Mercedes have really been good around Austria in real life, so no reason why they can't reflect that in game. And Fletch is definitely doing a good job of that as of yet. But let's see what he can do. He's got 2 more corners until he starts his lap, and then that will be his last flying lap. He's got 2.5 bit tenths to Ross Storm. He's not going to come out for another lap, so he's confident in his pole lap. Here comes Fletch setting up a hot lap then, coming off the final corner, need the good exit, drag reduction system wide open, the rear wing flap giving him that extra speed down this back straight and coming towards turn 1, use the curve, brake at just after the 100 board, clip the inside curve, 5th gear to get the power coming out. Yellow flag actually set the 2, looks as though Renault's had a bit of a spin coming off the turn 2 and up the hill for Fletch as he rounds off sector 1. He's a little bit up on his time, goes purple to the first sector according to the game, clips an early apex, keeps the car rotated, uses the undulation to get the car. Bonaldo had a bit of a spin in the background there, as you can see, now coming towards turn 3, got to set up, use this curve on the left hand side, brake at the 100 board dead on. You want to carry the minimum speed, use the 4th gear, roll it in on the brakes and use the power on the exit to really help run the car wide and towards the infield sections of, I believe, turn 6 and 7. Really, again, got to be committed, use the power, get on the power as early as you can. Teak currently sits P2. Let's see what Fletch can do. 4 tenths up on his time. This is a good lap for Fletch. Let's see if he can hook it up through the final couple of corners. 2 more corners of the lap to go. Doesn't want to invalidate it now. Through turn 9 and really committed, really doesn't want to bottle this one though, and over the curb across the line. DRS open, just give him that extra speed, a 103.715, so it's not quite going to be pole. He only just misses out on pole position, must have lost a little bit of time in that final sector, but so close between the front runners. Ross Storm takes pole unless Stay Juventus can do anything about it. He's got a couple more corners left to go as well, needs about a 3/10 improvement to find himself on pole. Currently sits P5, he goes over the curb a little bit, he's going to invalidate. No, he's not. Yes, he is. Stay, let's see what he would have done. Would it have been pole across the line? He's going to back off anyway, but it did look like a good lap. 104.2 despite backing off. So if Stay could have had a chance of pole there if he didn't bottle it.
Maybe he could, but well, now that it's invalidated, we will never know. So it's Ross Storm on pole position, Flash getting P2. He says, my first pole in FRL, so that's a good job for him. And that's also helping my prediction, which I said he would take the win today.
Yeah, definitely pole position is a good way to start it off. He takes pole ahead of Fletch, 16 thousandths of a second separate them, and Teak in P3, John Fans P4, Stay Juventus P5, Bernardo P6, Adam P7, Sadek P8, and Bagos with a pretty mediocre time before retiring, and Rishi, of course, didn't set a time, so we'll be starting P10. But if it is this close in the race, Fletch and Ross separated by such marginal increments, it could be a very tight race. Both on the front row, it's going to be tight. Teak and John Fans, of course, will have the slipstream down towards turn 2. I think we're in for a good race, but we've still got 36 laps of action ahead of us, guys, and qualifying has only been the beginning.
Okay, so we got dry race. Well, but with this crazy game, I wouldn't be surprised if then it starts raining, even for full wet tires. That wouldn't surprise me at all, knowing how this game is. But well, at the moment, weather seems very dry. We see the sun there shining very brightly on the track. Going now into the information lap, finally we have the top 10 starting on soft tires. I think none of them went for mediums. We'll see the strategies from drivers out of the top 10. Gonna be a very interesting one, as we saw times are just very close. I think P1 to P7 or something like that in less than 5 tenths. So it's going to be very interesting to watch, and also the fight backs from guys at the back for who missed passing into Q3 because of that rain that surprised everyone on that Q2. So, well, Rostorm starting on pole position, Flash starting on P2. Oh, and Rostorm spins weird there. Yeah, this complete spin on after turn 1 on the formation lap. Waiting for everyone else to pass, and he's going to be last here. Oh, Game has... Oh, he's been disqualified. So those tires are going to be ice when this race starts.
Oh yeah, that is definitely not going to put him in a good position. He was waiting. He probably could have gotten away with just pulling onto the circuit. He had to stop on track, and that's really going to cost him. Fletch now rubbing his hands and licking his lips at the opportunity to take the lead. With Ross's cold tyres, of course, he's going to be sat on the grid stationary, whereas everyone else is going to be weaving around, getting the heat into their tyres, getting them into that optimal temperature window ahead of 36 laps. Ross isn't going to have that. He's going to be on cold tyres. He's not going to have the optimal launch off the line, but he needs to make up for it, and he needs to get those tyres up to temperature really quickly. Let's have a quick look at the tyre situation actually. Most people on the softs, a few exceptions, one on the hards and a couple on the mediums, so looking like a really set strategical race. Predicted pit stop strategy then, soft to medium or soft to hard. Could be either, and both could definitely work, but Fletch rounding the final corner now ahead of 36 laps of the race. Ross on the grid, he's been waiting for everyone. Definitely not the ideal start to his first pole position. Could be close, could be interesting. We'll have to wait and see ahead of 5 red lights.
Okay, we see now drivers taking their spots on the grid. Rostorm with those ice tires now. Well, still not so long wrong into turn 1 here. But, if those tires are so cold, if he takes that corner too fast, it may end in a spinning. But hope that doesn't happen, and he can handle it. But also, if he doesn't spin, may just mean a terrible exit from turn 1, and that will still allow Flash by in the next straight. So, well, we're about to find out what's gonna happen. That all drivers have taken their spots now. Game still not starting. We are waiting still for the lights to come out. We're on board with Rostorm now. Some reason it's not starting yet. Probably just have to wait some more seconds.
Looks to be a lobby glitch, I think.
Okay, gonna check that quickly, because if that's the case, we'll have to restart, most probably. They'll wait 1 minute, I think, to see if it works finally, which at the moment is not, and that would be pretty lucky for Rostorm, who would have a new chance of warming those tires if we have a restart. Clint says looks like a lobby glitch. Yes, that's what has happened. We have a glitch. So probably we're going to restart this. We'll confirm in a moment if that's what's going to happen. Yeah, mine too.